Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Made in Abyss Season 2, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun. But today, we are finally, at long last, going to be checking out Episode 8. And last time was Episode 7, of course, and that was quite a little bit of time ago, right? I mean, how long ago was it exactly? 2 months? 2 months nearly? Jeez,
Time is a son of a bitch.
But that doesn't matter. What does matter is we're back and ready to check out more Made in Abyss, and Episode 7, well, that was a hugely intense episode. I mean, at first, the reason why I didn't check out Episode 8 immediately was because I was trying to recover from the massive emotional impact that episode left on me. My hair keeps falling over my eye. I'm not a freaking edgelord emo, I swear. But let's go over that real quick, shall we? What happened in Episode 7? We got to see a little bit more of Irimui, what was going on in the past with her and the rest of her group. You see, things were going well for them at first. They found a nice supply of water that they could settle next to so that they could have a nice little camp for when they go out on expeditions. Turns out the water was tainted, horribly so. Whenever they would drink it, it would just kind of gradually melt them, like their bodies would kind of dissolve in a horribly painful and disturbing process. But the problem is, it was their only source of water, so they couldn't not drink it because then they would die of dehydration. But I mean, honestly, at that point, if I knew that was what was going to happen to me, I'd probably not drink it and just let the dehydration take me. But then they found the solution to their little problem, the Cradle of Desire, this weird egg-shaped thing that if you touched it, it would grant your deepest wishes, which, hey, you'd think that would solve everything, but it was a little more complicated than that because since it grants all your wishes, not just one, that means if used by somebody with a more complex set of desires, it can go awry. Hence why they ended up giving it to Irimui, who is a child, therefore has a lot more simple wishes. And their hope was that by giving it to her, one of her deepest wishes would be to save herself and the rest of their group. But as we would learn just before she was given the egg, she has a few other wishes in mind, such as that she wanted to be a mother. And well, the egg made it happen. It did make her into a mother. But she kinda got monkey's pawed. Just a little bit there. Because yes, she was able to give birth, but it was a kinda unique way of giving birth, where they would just kinda pop out of her chest in a xenomorph-esque fashion. But the worst part of it was not that, and it wasn't even the fact that the little babies that she would give birth to were kinda weird, monster-y looking things. No, the worst thing was that the children that she gave birth to would immediately die, because they lacked the ability to eat. And it forced her into an endless nightmarish loop where she would keep giving birth to them over and over and over and having to watch them die again and again and again. That was horrific to have to watch. But at the end of the day, it seemed like their other wish had been granted, that somehow this happening managed to save the group. They didn't specify how, but the immediate dark implication is that after she would give birth to the weird little monster things and they would die, they just kinda took their corpses, made them into a stew, and then had everybody eat them. It was truly heartbreaking. Really, really tragic stuff, man. But now, enough chit-chat. We can head into Episode 8. What do you say, guys? Let's go. Well, golly gee, everyone. The whole story is now laid out before us. We know how it started for this group, beginning to end here, basically. They were hoping they could find a place where they belonged, down there in the abyss in the Golden City, and at the end of the day, they did. They had to give up a lot to make it happen, including their own humanity, but they did it. And even though they lost their humanity, at the end they at least got to keep their sentience, you know? They're still capable of rationalizing to the same extent as they were when they were fully human, but you got poor Irimui, who's just a giant tree now. She can't speak or maybe even think really anymore. But the existence of Faputa would indicate that she has a degree of frustration with how things currently are. And like I said earlier, I'm guessing that the promise that Reg made to her has something to do with that, right? I mean, they said it right here that her main goal, her desire, would be to free her mother. And she seemed really dedicated to that promise that Reg made, and he had that image in his mind that he assumes is connected to the promise, and she looked, she was crying, she looked incredibly emotionally involved with it. So if the promise doesn't involve that, I would be very shocked. Man, what a good episode, dude. Made in Abyss, one of the things that it's really good at is just telling a really fascinating, interesting story, with these characters that sometimes, like, especially in this episode, I just wanted to sit back and absorb everything. There were times where I almost didn't commentate at all just because I was just trying to take it all in, because it was so engaging and fascinating and sad. What can I even say at this point, man? With the whole story laid out like this, it tells this tragic tale of what one needs to sacrifice to have their wishes granted, to get what they want. Irumyui sacrificed everything. Pretty much everything. She can't even receive death at this point. She's just stuck. And it syncs so good with the themes of value that they've laid out in the first half of Season 2 here, It makes sense that they attach so much to value. Gosh, man, the way Belof's mind was just friggin' broken when he realized what had happened with Irumyui and her kids. It's just... oh, man. I don't blame him, though. I do not blame him for becoming mentally shattered by that realization. I mean, it would probably happen to most people, at least a little bit, right? And I mean, to an extent, they said it happened to everybody else. They just kind of got used to it and just became numb. But Belof's fortitude kept that from happening to him. He just could not get used to it. Like, I think Wazukyan said that he was too virtuous to become numb to it, which, that was a curse for the poor guy. And we saw what he inevitably became after he broke to the point where he had to just straight up say, I can't even be human anymore. He just couldn't deal with the emotions of it. And we saw, he becomes the big caterpillar thing. And yeah, that was quite the ordeal for him. And Waco, she went through it too, man. She withstood it about to the same extent as Belof did, but she tried to take her own life by the end there, but he wasn't gonna let her do that. And it's just your classic Made in Abyss pain and agony, having to sit through that with Belof and Waco. But Wazukyan, or however you say his name, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, he, on the other hand, didn't seem to be fazed at all by any of it. Not really. The dude stuck to his guns till the very last. Like, he didn't seem to be fazed at all by it. No, not even close. And man, I got pretty pissed when he's like, oh, here, obviously, like, it would benefit us more if I took them, the kids from her fresh, rather than waiting for them to die. And it's like, dude, are you for real right now? It's like, yeah, I get it. He's probably right. Yeah, the health benefits of them would probably be improved if he did it fresh, but Irumyui, man, she it was bad enough that she had to have her kids die in her arms, but it would probably be a lot more emotionally taxing to have your child that you just gave birth to ripped away from you, just so it could be butchered, man. It's like, geez, there's no closure in that. I mean, she might know that it happens, though. I'm not sure if she was even aware of what he was doing with her kids. Like, especially not after, he was taken away while they were alive. I'm not sure about that. Don't know, but still, that guy, I get he was doing what he had to do, and I was like, oh man, that was messed up that he had to, cut them up after they died, but it became so much worse that he had to do it. Not that he had to, that he chose to do it while they were still alive. Jeez, man. Jeez. I guess they're like lobsters, maybe, to the point where it doesn't work. Like, where it's like, if you try to cook a lobster that's dead, you can get, like, bacterial infection setting in. so you have to do it while they're alive. But maybe it works the same way with them. I don't know. And I'll never know probably, but... Oy. Yeah, Made in Abyss is a neat world with a lot of really tragic stuff going on. That's just what it amounts to here, but... Anyway, I guess for now, that's about all I got, so... Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. That'd be great. Next time, episode 9. I'd like to have that episode out as soon as possible, but... I mean, it took me 2 months to get around to making this one here, so... I should also make that video explaining the whole situation, but... That's off topic, and something for another time. But yeah, it was a great episode, and I genuinely, deep down, hope you guys enjoyed the video. But till we meet again, I will see you guys later!